He does not simply exist in the world of football. He exists above it, beyond it, inside a mental plane where the ordinary rules no longer apply. Ronaldo's psychology thrives in extremes. Extremes of effort, extremes of expectation, extremes of self-awareness. Every sprint, every touch, every goal is not just a physical act, but a deliberate expression of intent, a tangible proof that his mind can shape reality. He is an architect of the possible, sculpting outcomes from sheer will, patience, and relentless repetition. This is why his career defies the average trajectory of athletes. Records are broken not just because of talent, but because his psychology refuses to acknowledge limits. To understand him, one must appreciate the interplay between intrinsic and extrinsic motivation in his life. The external, the trophies, the accolades, the admiration, all serve as mirrors, reflecting not his worth, but his progression. The intrinsic, however, is ferocious and insatiable. The internal narrative that tells him he is never enough drives him beyond every comfort zone. He wakes each day not just to train, but to rewrite yesterday's version of himself. In psychology, this could be described as a relentless pursuit of self-actualization, but to reduce Ronaldo to an abstract term is to misunderstand him entirely. He is the embodiment of self-imposed evolution. Consider his relationship with criticism. For many, critique is poison. For Ronaldo, it is fertilizer. Every negative word, every skeptical glance, every doubting voice is absorbed, processed, and converted into fuel. This is a subtle but powerful psychological mechanism. One where external negativity is internalized not as discouragement, but as opportunity. He does not react impulsively to criticism. He calculates, measures, and integrates. In doing so, he transforms what could destroy confidence into an engine of excellence. This is one reason why he endures across decades when others falter. His mind treats adversity not as a punishment, but as a tool, a raw material for refinement. There is also the psychology of self-perception. Ronaldo's sense of self is paradoxically fragile and unshakable. Fragile because the boy who once feared inadequacy still inhabits a corner of his mind. Unshakable because decades of disciplined affirmation, victory, and survival have built a fortress around that self. His mental imagery is precise. He visualizes goals, sequences, victories, and in his mind, these visualizations are real rehearsals of success. Sports psychologists call this mental simulation, but in Ronaldo, it is ritual, almost spiritual in nature. His body follows what his mind has already rehearsed, bridging imagination and reality with surgical precision. Another key facet is his obsessive attention to his own body. Ronaldo's psychology is inseparable from his physicality, not because he is vain, but because he understands that the body is the vehicle of legacy. Every meal, every workout, every stretch is calculated, monitored, and executed with near religious discipline. This level of body awareness, proprioception married to obsession, creates an environment where excellence is not occasional, but inevitable. To stray from this regimen is to invite vulnerability, and vulnerability to someone like him is unacceptable. The psychology here is one of extreme self-governance, mind and body as a single, tightly controlled instrument. But perhaps the most fascinating aspect is his relationship with failure. Ronaldo fails daily, in practice, in matches, in moments unnoticed by the public eye, and yet failure is never permanent. Psychologically, he exhibits what is known as resilient optimism, the ability to experience setbacks without being dominated by them. Each failure is a lesson coded into memory. It is evaluated, dissected, and stored as a strategy for avoidance in the future. This approach is why his career longevity is as impressive as his peak performance. He does not merely bounce back, he grows back stronger, sharper, more prepared. Interpersonal dynamics are equally revealing. Ronaldo's relationships with coaches, teammates, and rivals demonstrate a careful balancing act. He is demanding both of himself and of others, yet strategic. He understands influence and leverage, knowing precisely when to inspire, when to assert authority, and when to withdraw. His psychology is deeply tactical. He rarely allows emotional impulses to dictate behavior on the field. Instead, he channels them into controlled aggression. This is why he dominates critical moments. The intensity is present but contained, a coiled spring released with precision. There is also a profound connection between ego and achievement. Critics mislabel his ego as arrogance, but psychologically, it is an advanced form of self-regulation. It is an ego that needs to be fed not for vanity, but as a safeguard against complacency. The ego reminds him daily, you must earn this again and again and again. It is a constant metronome for effort. Without it, the ambition that drives his every action would have no rhythm, no continuity. In psychology, we might call it adaptive self-enhancement, but in Ronaldo, it is survival. To lose the edge of self-belief is to lose oneself entirely. And yet, there is the subtle, almost invisible layer of empathy. This is not empathy in the ordinary sense of warmth or softness, but empathy in the understanding of other psychology, rivals, teammates, fans. He reads motivations, anticipates reactions, and adapts. His public persona may be sculpted and self-aware, but his strategic empathy allows him to navigate relationships and social expectations with intelligence. He knows how to influence, inspire, intimidate, and motivate, often without explicit effort. This psychological nuance is a critical component of leadership, and Ronaldo has refined it over decades of observation and self-reflection. Now consider his identity as a cultural icon. He is conscious that every gesture, every expression, every interview, every social media post contributes to a narrative about him. His psychology is acutely aware of symbolism and legacy, not because he seeks adoration, but because he understands the impermanence of time and the permanence of memory. The world forgets quickly, but he intends to be remembered. This creates a double-edged dynamic. The external pressures of scrutiny and expectation are immense, yet they also serve as motivation, a daily reminder that he is playing for something beyond himself. Underlying all this is the internal rhythm of control versus chaos. Life, for Ronaldo, is a negotiation between the unpredictability of circumstance and the predictability of preparation. He cannot control everything, yet he controls enough to influence outcomes reliably. His psychology relies on structured rituals to stabilize the mind. Repetition, monitoring, analysis. Every detail, from warm-up routines to recovery schedules, acts as a psychological anchor, creating a sense of safety in a world of variables. This balance is crucial. It allows him to navigate pressure, uncertainty, and opposition without losing composure. Another deep layer of his psyche is the notion of symbolic immortality. Ronaldo's accomplishments are not just personal milestones, they are statements of permanence. Records, trophies, historical moments. They are more than recognition. They are proof of existence, markers that assert, I was here, I mattered, I transformed the game. In psychology, this could be seen as a response to existential awareness, the understanding that life is finite and that time erodes memory. To combat this, he externalizes legacy, making achievements tangible, measurable, and visible. Psychologically, Ronaldo also demonstrates exceptional self-reflective capacity. He evaluates past actions with meticulous honesty. Mistakes are dissected, decisions reviewed, strategies recalibrated. He cultivates a feedback loop where reflection feeds adaptation, adaptation feeds improvement, and improvement feeds identity. This cyclical process is what allows him not just to maintain greatness, but to evolve it over time. The human brain often resists change, clings to comfort, fears failure. Ronaldo's mind thrives in transformation, rewires itself continuously, and reshapes boundaries, mentally, emotionally, and physically. And yet, beneath all the discipline, control, and strategic brilliance, there is still a human element. Joy in the game, pure exhilaration in scoring, the thrill of challenge, the pride of mastery. These are the glimpses of the child who fell in love with football on the streets, the boy who ran faster than everyone else, not for fame, not for wealth, but because he could, because the act itself felt alive. That sense of wonder persists, but it is now interwoven with calculation, purpose, and legacy. He has not lost the love. He has elevated it into an instrument of achievement. Finally, the psychology of Ronaldo is a testament to the complexity of human motivation. He embodies paradox, intensity and control, vulnerability and armor, ego and empathy, restlessness and ritual, ambition and reflection. He is the product of circumstance and choice, of fear and drive, of biology and relentless training. He is a man who lives perpetually at the intersection of potential and realization, aware of his limitations yet daring to transcend them daily. To witness him is to witness the intersection of human will and mental architecture. A man who has reconstructed every element of himself to withstand scrutiny, achieve beyond expectation, and leave a mark that defies temporality. His mind is a laboratory of obsession, resilience, and strategic self-enhancement. It is a place where limitations are studied, dissected, and overcome. It is a place where failure is temporary, hunger is perpetual, and legacy is the ultimate metric of existence. In conclusion, Ronaldo's psychology is not reducible to cliches. It is not merely ego, talent, or luck. It is an intricate tapestry of discipline, resilience, narrative consciousness, strategic empathy, self-perception, control, fear, and relentless ambition. Every decision, every movement, every thought is part of a deliberate architecture of greatness. He is the personification of human potential extended to its limits. a mind that refuses to accept mediocrity, a spirit that transforms every challenge into opportunity, a presence that commands attention not because it seeks it, but because it cannot help but radiate it. Ronaldo is not just a footballer. He is a phenomenon of psychology, a study in human drive, a masterclass in self-actualization. He demonstrates that greatness is not a byproduct of circumstance or even talent alone, but of an extraordinary alignment of mind, body, and relentless intent. And it is that alignment, that singular focus, that makes him not only exceptional but almost mythic in his enduring influence. He is, in every sense, a man who refuses to settle, a man who refuses to pause, a man who refuses to accept limits. And perhaps that is the most profound psychological truth of all. The relentless pursuit of better, the obsession with excellence, and the unyielding demand for self-transcendence can shape not only a career but a life that becomes legend while still being lived. Ronaldo is not a product of talent alone. He is the architecture of obsession, the psychology of perfection, the discipline of immortality. And in understanding him, we glimpse the extraordinary potential of a human mind committed to becoming more than itself, to leaving more than memory, to achieving more than life thought possible.